Hi, hello, namaste, hearty, welcome to yet another interesting class. Okay, we are studying, all these different education, getting to know, different things. And as we prosper in knowledge, wisdom, understanding, we give good service to people and take care of the people around us, the company that we are working for, or the company that we are running, everything that we are doing. Obviously, sooner or later you got to become rich. Yes or no? You will be. But more than rich, you must be wealthy. And this is a very wonderful book, which is almost like a century old book. If you see the book, it says, the richest man in Babylon, the secret success of the ancients, the most inspiring book on wealth ever written. George S. Carlson. So it's a book that is written by George Samuel Carlson in 1926, and this book aims to give common sense financial advice, which kings used to follow. Kings, kings used to follow, and the author has tried to put those learnings, those practices through tales and parables in this book. And needless to say, it's almost like close to a century now, okay, that this book is written. And it primarily talks about how one must save, where should we invest, how to secure wealth, and what is the importance of gold, and all these things have been written in this book. And because we are doing business tax paper, I felt these kind of books, where the financial literacy happens, that should be imparted to the students, or to our next generation. If teachers are not talking about these kind of books, you cannot go back and study more about this book. See, whatever books I am presenting in the class, I learn from it, I practice it, and then I'm presenting it to you. Are you getting it? So I encourage you to read these books also. At least in YouTube there are so many book summaries in your language only: Marathi, Telugu, Tamil, anything, Kannada, any language. You just type richest man in Babylon, your mother tongue, and then summary. Even in English there will be so many books. Just listen to it. Listen to the same book summary from 4 5 different authors or different languages. There will definitely be something that will touch you. Make this a habit. Make this a habit, okay? So, the word actually Babylon means anything that is rich and magnificent city. It means a rich and magnificent city, believed to be a place of excessive luxury. And wherever there is excessive luxury, then there is every chance of wickedness. This place is now Iraq. It's a city, that's located in Iraq on the lower Euphrates River. And Babylon city is an example that a a human, can achieve anything if they use the resources that is made available to them properly. Babylon. Whatever are the resources that is made available to you, which is at your disposal, if you use those resources properly, one can be super rich, is what this book talks about. And coming to Babylon, the Babylon engineers constructed a new dam in Babylon city to provide water to the farms. And also, this construction is called the first engineering feat. First engineering feat. We also take delight in Vishveshwaraya, Sir Vishveshwaraya, right, for engineers and all. But similarly, in Babylon, this is considered the first engineering feat. And not only that, they are also first mathematicians and first financiers also. Babylonian people. And kings in those days used to write their valuable suggestions to the next generation on clay tablets. Clay tablets. I mean, in Telugu we say bankamatti. So on clay tablets, they used to write the suggestions, for the next generation. So how, in Indian mythology, they say talapatra, right? In Telugu, they say talapatra grandalu. So they write, on some leaves, So something like that, they used to write on clay. And another important thing about Babylon is that, it is very, very strong. The towers there are very, very strong. And it will be very, very difficult for the enemy to combat or attack, those towers. But the Persian king, Cyrus the Great, he conquered the kingdom of Babylon. And then, the Babylonian empire, it ended. Because just like, how in a game of cricket, everybody, has to play. Similarly, even when you are running a company or organization, whatever the king or minister is telling, the soldiers have to follow that. The next cabinet has to follow that. You don't follow that, then sooner or later we all have to perish. Let that not happen in our case. Okay, so here he talks about these three secrets. Pay yourself first, save at least 10% of what you earn, then seek advice from experts, not inexperienced people, to wisely invest. These are the three top secrets. I'll try to present this book in 3 4 classes with little 5 10 minutes here and there, but it's very, very important when you're running a business, or even if you're an employee. Pay yourself first means take care of your commitments first. Your commitment, sir, is that not selfishness? I mean, if you are the head of the family, first provide for your family, then do the charity. I mean, in our Christian faith, the Lord says, don't say I'm giving to temple, so I am not able to take care of my parents. And if you are not taking care of your immediate family members, it says, you're worse than an unbeliever. I'm sure, every faith talks something good. As a man, as a father, you are responsible for your family. You've got to act responsibly. Getting it? So pay yourself first. Pay yourself first does not mean, aap maja karo. Yeah, that can also be there. But start with necessities and then comforts. Then probably, luxury. But necessities and comforts. Pay yourself first. Next, save at least 10% of what you earn. Tough for today's generation, but you got to save at least 10% of what you earn. Pura mat uda do. These are not some gyans, I'm giving you. We have seen some of the toughest days in our life too. At 23 years, I used to make 83,000 rupees. At 23 years. And 2008, the recession was hardly hit. I mean, it hit most of the companies, very, very hard. And our company was also very much hit, the very first company where I was working. For 4.5 years, I worked there. Almost 5 years. That year, the last 1 year before that, recession hit, and our salary was reduced from 83,000 to 25,000. My salary. Still, I worked there 8 months faithfully, and then I ventured on, to look for something else because I also had family, and that was clearly spoken, to my boss also. But I didn't save anything. I have to confess that. Because at 23, when I used to make 83,000, it used to be like purchasing power. Chalo, we lived a very lower middle class family life. Now, chalo, jeete hain zindagi. Partly correct, but I didn't save anything. Maybe I didn't get this kind of counsel when I was studying my education or something. But basically, that is common sense. You don't need that counsel also. But कल के बारे में सोचता ही नहीं था मैं. Leaders are supposed to be visionary. That's why in companies also there will be something called as reserve fund, emergency fund. In families also, whenever you're making budget, make some emergency fund. Like 3 months salaries at least. 3 to 6 months salary. Minimum it has to be there in reserve. Suddenly, God forbid, some emergency comes. You must be there to take care of your loved ones, your people, or else it'll be difficult. Okay, so don't make the mistake that I made. So save at least 10% of what you earn. Then the last one, seek advice from experts, not inexperienced people, to make wise investments. See, saving is important. 10% save it for yourself. If 50% of your what is that, your income is going off, or let's say 70% of your income is going on into your commitments and all, at least 20% try to invest somewhere. Gold may, somewhere you're purchasing a house or anything, invest where the money can multiply. At the 10% keep it to yourself. In our faith we give 10% to God or godly purposes. I would say put another 10% into you. God loves you very, very much. When to God you are giving 10%, why don't you give 10% to yourself and keep learning something new? Keep your body in good shape, eat right food, get good knowledge intake, do the right stuff. Are you getting it? Do the right stuff. Start with these three. And we have other things also, that's written in the book. But these three, start with these three. And even I think, in the modern world also, they have something called as 70-20-10 rule. Uh, that's a financial planning rule. 70-20-10 rule. Huh. Right. Let me remove this. This one. See, when I put the 70-20-10 finance rule into Google, I see this. The guideline for managing personal finances that suggests individuals should allocate their money in the following manner: 70% for essential expenses, 20% for financial goals, 10% for leisure and miscellaneous expenses. So, plan it accordingly. It's a very famous rule. Some make it 80-10-10. 80% towards bills and all, 10% into savings, 10% income goes to charity. So, something like that. See, the lesser the 70 one, the more will be your investment opportunities. The more will be your investment opportunities. You should plan, something like that. 60-20-10-10. Yeah. 60-20-10-10. 60% should go into your necessities, 20% into investment, 10% to your faith, to poor, anybody, orphans, widows, anybody. And last 10% to you, to become a better person. So maybe I would say 60, 20, 10, 10. ऐसा कोई है rule? 60, 20, 10, 10? No. Okay, 60, 20, 20 they have put. Okay. That is my thing. I would say 60, 20, 10 and 10. 6, 2, 1, 1. Plan that. What richness is that if we are not able to serve the poor with our education? I'm not asking you to become, another Mother Teresa. 10% of your income, if you don't believe in God, also give it to the poor. The least you do to them is what you've done to God. Feeding the poor, something, Try, have that desire. Lord, with my salary, is that possible? God will give you, God will make whatever is your salary, today, that can be the 10% offering that you are giving to the poor and needy. If only you have a heart to serve, hands to work. God will give you thoughts in your head. When you speak, situations will change. Your team will work wonders. Your clients will love you. Whatever you do, it will prosper. It's a good attribute to feed the poor. You don't believe in putting money into temple, and all these things. Even I don't believe much in that. But 10% of your income must go to something which you can never get back. Not loans to friends. He was in need, month end I gave. No, no. When you give to somebody, you expect that, they thank you, they acknowledge you. Somewhere you expect that gratitude. What is that called? Entitlement. Somewhere you feel that. When that doesn't get a proper acknowledgement, you feel low, you feel negative, you try to become bad, you feel I should not help anybody going forward. I did all that. With experience, I'm telling you. Okay, so 60, 20, 10, 10. 60% you try to restrict your expenses, 20 you invest, 9 in that 80% only you manage, and baki ka 10% for you, 10% for God or poor. Try that and let me know how life works for you. Yeah, so let's get into the class. God bless you.